Hello, mi gente. Welcome once again to another episode of Hablamos Spanglish. I am your host, Ana Carolina Salazar, and today we have a fantastic story to share with you about my dear friend, Delaina Baker. Delaina is an incredible individual who has found her voice and purpose through social media. She's dedicated to helping, educating, and entertaining others. And today, we get to dive into her journey. But this episode isn't your typical interview, it's a lively conversation between two friends who share a passion for social media, marketing, and nonprofit work. Through her business, Delaina has been able to amplify her voice and support those in need, helping them bring their projects to life. We also delve into Delaina's experience with the stand-up comedy and how she seamlessly integrates humor into her work. She is a true testament to inspiration, passion, and the powers of continuous learning. So don't miss out on Delaina's hilarious anecdotes in this new episode of Hablamos Spanglish. Join us and get ready to laugh until your cheeks hurt. Únete a nosotros y prepárate a reír. Hola, Delaina. Welcome to Hablamos Spanglish.
Thank you so much. I am very excited to be here.
We have been talking, before having this conversation because I want to make this a conversation. I was just talking to one of our producers to see how we can turn what Hablamos Spanglish has been always kind of like an interview, but I want to do it more, open and get to know you, who is Delaina and any anecdotes that you have, but have this conversation flow. Yes.
I love it. Let's do it. I'm excited. Let's converse.
Let's converse. So, Delaina, but first, I want our listeners to get to know you. I know you, I have gotten to know you personally in the past a year and a half, right?
Yeah, a year and a half. Yeah.
Time flies.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
But I love that it feels like 10 years.
I know.
To be honest with you. I love it. I feel like I've known you forever.
No, thank you. And Delaina and I met the dinner party project, right? So it's actually, well, you can explain it better what the dinner party project is, but yeah, tell us a little bit about about you, where are you from, so our listeners can get to know you.
I would love that. Do you want me to start with dinner party project, or do you want me to start with me?
Let's start how we got.
How we knew each other.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
So dinner party project. So the dinner party project here is an organization that has either you can have a trusted circle group where you meet up with, the same 10 people, 15 people or whatever, and you meet up quarterly, which is how we met.
Yes.
And then, of course, Dinner Party Project has other events as well. But the cool part, what I loved about our trusted circle was it was developed by Michelle Taylor and by Bernadette Gervin for, their kind of trusted circle they wanted to build. And we didn't know each other. And I thought that was really cool. And I kind of knew Bernadette a little bit, did not know Michelle. I feel like our group has really become really good close friends, allies that we can, lean on for support.
I know.
They can, vice versa, the whole thing. I love that. I really felt that Michelle and Bernadette put together a group that was spectacular. And I know of other trusted circle groups and they are close to some of them, but I feel like ours is the best.
I think so.
I think we are the OGs of the trusted circle situation.
And I love like everybody was aligned with, how we wanted our trusted circle to be, because we were like, oh my gosh, yes, we are business owners, but we don't want to talk about business, right? So we open it up like, let's just be yourself and just talk about whatever it comes to the table. So
I think one of the things was vulnerability.
Yes.
I think that's what, even on our first one, we just all became very vulnerable and pulled down a curtain, which I don't think is something that people do immediately when they meet somebody. But I felt like this comfort in the room. And then it was like a connection. When you introduced yourself and you were like, oh, I'm in marketing, I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait to like just vent to her, because I always try to look for other marketing people as allies. I mean, there's so much business to go around. There's not necessarily a level of competition, but it's a level of friendships and support, and how we're all going to do this together and bounce ideas off, because as you know, we get creative brain drain. So when I found out you were in marketing, I'm like, oh, thank God. And of course, another girl in our group does, a little
Yeah.
bit of marketing as well. So I thought that was neat. But yeah, that's how we met.
I
And I am
know.
ever so grateful when it was time to sign up again for Trusted Circle. You did not have to ask me twice.
Oh, no, and I love that, that you're sharing that part because for me and why I joined the Trusted Circle dinner, it was because I was looking to get out of my comfort zone, right? I always stuck with my Hispanic community in my bubble. And I remember Bernadette posting, oh, we're gonna do this Trusted Circle dinner. DM me if you want to join. And I was like, oh my gosh, should I do this? I knew it was going to be uncomfortable a little for a while because I wasn't used to, and I didn't have American friends actually,
Mm.
because I always, you know, s- stay with my,
Yeah, you go with what you know.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was like, okay, let's do this. It has been wonderful because I have gotten to know you too and all the ladies, and we have made a great friendship. So
I
I'm
know
super
it's
excited.
awesome. Okay, so I'm obviously extremely extroverted. And how did you, on our Trusted Circle group, question for you, how did you feel like driving up there? I was a nervous wreck. I was like, I'm meeting all these women, these other business owners, and it's like you want to posture, but you don't want to posture.
I
You
know.
want to be vulnerable, all the whole thing. How did you feel like driving up to that event, not
So,
knowing anybody?
so the good thing it was because the first dinner was at Amanda, so I knew Amanda, right?
Okay.
So I felt a little bit more comfortable on that side. But I remember staying like I arrived there a little bit earlier, and I stay in the car like for all those minutes, like thinking, okay, how am I supposed to behave? But that's something that I have worked on myself
Mhm.
for the I think when I became an entrepreneur,
Mm,
because at the beginning I wasn't wearing what how I felt comfortable. For example, I was wearing clothing that to be part belong to a certain
Yeah,
group,
fit in.
like fit in,
Mhm.
yes, but didn't feel comfortable, or I
Mhm.
will act in a certain way, like how business CEOs and business owners are supposed to behave. But then I got tired of that, right? So I
It's
was like, you know
exhausting.
what? I don't have to do this.
Mhm.
Whoever wants to do business with me, they will do it because of the value that I provide. So I remember that day it was like, I don't care about my accent. I don't care about this and this. Of course, I was afraid, but that day I was like, I'm just gonna be me.
I
So
love your accent. I like when I wanna call you and you just read me a bedtime story. Like, I love it.
you're hilarious.
I love it.
But and now I have gotten to know you, and in the past year and a half.
Mhm.
But I think in this conversation, I was looking forward to having you at Hablamos Spanglish at the famous yellow couch,
I love it.
because I want to share you with our audience, and so they get to know you and the beautiful person you are, and
Oh,
everything that you're doing here in Central Florida. We are both marketers, and um, I would love for you to to share a little bit of who you are and how did you end up doing, because ladies and gentlemen, she is the queen of social media. So
oh, I'm queen
how
I'm
did
royalty. I
yes,
love it.
yes,
Bring it on.
yes. I have had the Queen of England here, our friend Kay, but now we have the Queen of
Oh my
social media.
gosh, Kay. So it's so funny with Kay. I call her prom queen of Orlando. I always tell her that. Like I feel like um, Beth Hobart and Jim Hobart, they are the homecoming queen and king of Orlando, and I feel like
Yes, that's
Kay
true.
is the prom queen, forever prom queen. She is amazing.
uh,
Yeah.
okay, so tell us a little bit about Delaina.
So I never thought, well, I'll take you back. I'm old enough to like social media didn't really exist, obviously. When I kind of got into what do you want to do with your life? I wanted to be a writer. That was it. I mean, when I was in high school, there really wasn't the internet. It wasn't used in college either. And I just wanted to be a New York Times bestseller by the time I was 25. I had really big dreams. I
Wow.
was delusional as well, but that's what I love writing. That's where it
Okay.
stems from. And I ended up out of school. Ended up being an SEC compliance administrator, which means anytime you make any kind of investment, you get a report at the end of the year or during, each quarter, an 8K, a 10Q, really boring what we did with your money.
And were you here in
I was here
Orlando?
in
Okay.
Orlando. Yep, yep. I worked for CNL and downtown right here. And I loved it because I loved the writing portion and helping with that side of it and then getting to do that part of it. But I learned a lot about like corporate world and everything. It was great. It was a great place to start your corporate,
Like
career.
experience. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it was awesome. But then when I had my babies, I decided to stay home,
Okay.
and when I did, I really felt like I was missing something. I wasn't. I loved being a stay-at-home mom, but there was just like this piece missing, and I decided to sort of pick up writing again. And at that time, it was 2006, and mommy bloggers were kind of on the rise. Well, I didn't really want to do my own blog, but I started commenting on other mommy bloggers, and I would write funny things.
Oh,
And
wow.
then I honestly just put myself out there and said, "Hey, could I write an article for you?"
That's true, though. That was
Yeah,
the first thing on
that was kind of the
this
rise of
kind of
the
social
internet.
media.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah,
And
I remember.
so I was a ghostwriter for mommy bloggers,
Okay.
which some of them, were they awesome, and some of them, I learned a lot about SEO. I learned a lot about websites. I learned a lot there that I didn't really know. Didn't really know much about marketing either, but I started to learn how, sort of a digital marketing works, and which was great. And then they would ask me, "Hey, could you like do my Facebook posts for me?" And I'm like, "I don't know what that is, not a clue." And they didn't have business pages back then, and Instagram was sort of just something you put
Just to,
pictures of.
yeah, and use the filters,
Yeah,
and
it
then
was
you
using the
post it
filters.
on Facebook.
Yeah, and then you're supposed to it's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
So then I got to kind of learn more about it, and then, of course, just the rise of other social media platforms. I ended up working at an agency here downtown and, in Orlando, and as a copywriter. And then I told them, I was like, "Hey, I kinda dabble in social media." They're like, "Oh, that's kind of a job." I was like, "It is? Like, social media is a job?" This is, like, 12 years ago. And, they said, "Yeah, it's, like, totally a job." I'm like, "Totally, give it to me." And so I did. I learned everything I could, and then it got to the point where I had clients coming to me, and I ended up kinda starting my own business, and here we are.
Wow, that's amazing that you said that they say that social media is a job, because I think that even today, I think it wasn't until, social media started to change so much that then my clients were like, oh, this is like kind of like a full-time job. I'm like, it
It
has
is.
been for many, many
It is, it
years,
is the amount of
right?
time that it takes to do.
I know.
And you'll get somebody that'll come in and say, "Oh, can you just post this real quick?" I'm like, "Oh, the real quick part is not, no, no, no,
I
ma'am.
know.
It's not real quick."
Yes,
So
exactly.
educating the audience, which as you see on my LinkedIn, I
Yeah.
love to do. I love to educate people
Educate.
about it so that they can, use it. I'd love to be able to help everybody. But if I can just provide the tiniest bit of information for somebody so that they don't feel uncomfortable getting out there and posting on social,
I know. Yeah.
that's what I want. That's what
And
I want to teach people.
yeah, I remember getting comments. Oh no, it's just posting a picture or a photo or whatever on
Hmm.
social media,
Hmm.
and creating a caption. I'm like, no, no, that's not gonna work. But I remember that when I started doing social media, I don't know, it came very natural. It was,
Hmm.
I was working at Univision,
Hmm.
and then I was like, oh, there is Facebook, right? And I opened a page for Univision Orlando. Mm, Univision Corporation didn't even had
They didn't have their own.
their
So you were just
own.
like
I
OG
just
Orlando and like, I'm
Yes,
just gonna do this.
I just did it, and I just started posting, like going and take pictures
Yeah.
behind the scenes of the newscast,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
everything, and I started posting, and then Univision Corporation reached out and they say, "Oh, close,
Oh,
close
excuse me,
that
let me straighten my
page."
tie.
I
Okay.
know. So that's when I saw that. I was like, maybe I like this.
Yeah.
Maybe I could do this. So
Uh-huh.
it's funny, like how the stories are
It
the
does come
similar.
naturally to me too. I'm glad you said that. It feels natural. I love kind of developing the strategies behind it, but then there's just an essence of just do it.
Yes.
And I actually teach this a lot to a lot of people when they get like overwhelmed. Oh, should I post this? I don't know what to say. I have something called JFPI, and it's just post it. I'm not going to say what it is.
And
I don't know if your audience is okay with
yeah,
that, but
I
that's what
don't
I
know.
tell people.
Yeah,
JFPI.
yeah, that's true.
Hmm.
And did you ever feel the imposter syndrome? Because I did. I felt like, yes, it's coming natural, but I need to understand it better, and that's why I
I
did.
still struggle with it. I still struggle with it just for my own personal, I can stand up and give classes. I can talk to people for hours about it. I can coach people along, and I've got all the knowledge. And when it comes to me, I second guess everything I
Mm,
do. I don't think imposter syndrome ever goes away.
yeah.
I think it's just something we kind of just have to overcome all the time, I guess. But I struggle with that Quite a bit. So yeah, sometimes I'll second guess what I've posted, or if I schedule something out, I'll go back and change it. So yeah.
Yeah. No, and I say that because that's when I had my first job in marketing. I started doing email marketing and then change this on the website and post something on social media. I was like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
this is a lot of things.
It's a lot. Mm-hmm.
And I was like, but I'm not sure if I wasn't doing it the right way,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's when I decided to do my master's in digital marketing. But it wasn't until there when I realized, like, okay, then I feel a little bit better
Mm-hmm.
what was I doing. But I think we learn what we do
I think
mostly,
that's
right?
what, so because social
Yeah.
media changes so much and
Yes.
digital marketing changes, it's like you can't know everything all the time.
Yeah.
It honestly, you constantly have to learn.
Yeah.
So I think with it, because it changes so much. Also, too, because the audience is becoming more educated. So the more the audience becomes educated, we got to
Yes.
stay like 3 steps ahead of
I
them,
know, right?
of how to, capture their attention and get them to convert. So,
I always say that we are becoming kind of like doctors. They have to keep up with their.
oh, touche.
Yes, we have to
A
do that.
doctor. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
because I think we have to study more
Yeah.
than
Honestly, it's
to keep
honest.
up with
Yeah.
everything.
I mean, the amount of emails, the educational emails I'm signed up for just
Yeah.
to learn more about it and the websites we go on to stay on top of it. I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this changed. I mean, even coming in, meeting with somebody last week, I was like, oh, you're never going to guess what LinkedIn does with Spotify. Like it was just mind blowing.
And what spark, I know your clients came to you like and say, "Hey, can you do this? Can you do this?" And when did you have like that aha moment when you realized, you know what, I'm gonna open my business?
It kind of That's a great question. It kind of naturally progressed. It got to the point where I got so many people, I didn't know what my next step was. And so people were paying me as a vendor, and my husband is in the corporate world. So he's like, we need to get you an LLC. I'm like, yeah, I don't really know what that is. I don't know what that means. So I had to get really quickly educated, and he basically kind of walked me through that process. So I was hiring contractors to kind of pick up the pieces of what I needed. And I was, being a puppeteer and trying to, organize everybody and, who's doing what at all times. And I realized that I had a business at that point. I realized
Wow.
I'm like, So at that point, I hired a business coach,
Okay.
and she's absolutely incredible. She's still my business coach
Oh,
to this very
that's
day. She is incredible. And she taught me about how to do it to where their employees and, you know, profit sharing
mm-hmm.
and anything like how to run a company. And then I felt like it came naturally, and I felt like I was born to do it. So it wasn't like in my head that I went, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. It just came naturally. So it was
Okay.
sort of me doing it and getting overwhelmed, hiring contractors and going, oh, I got a
Like
business.
you
I
got
got
a
a
business.
business now. So
Wow.
I
Okay.
didn't know things. And this is, my friends will say, you probably shouldn't admit this to people, but I feel like I want people to know so that they don't feel like they're alone. I very much have an inclusivity sort of gift, if you will. I didn't know what a PNL was.
Oh, no, no.
I had no
Hey.
I thought it was
No, no.
PNL. I didn't know it was P and L. I was very confused. And I was like, I don't know what that is. I don't know how to read a balance sheet. All these things were very confusing to me.
I know.
And
I know.
my husband's in corporate finance, so he was able to kind of talk me through it. But I did have to go to my business coach and go, I heard what he said, but I
Yes.
don't know what it means. Can you help me
Exactly.
understand what he
Oh
means?
my gosh. I feel
So,
you.
yeah. So I didn't understand, but now it's like, you're like, how did I not know that?
No, no.
But I
The
want other people
depends.
to know that if you are new to a business or you're growing a business or you want to start a business, it's okay not to know something.
Exactly.
Ask around. Like,
Yes.
don't be afraid to ask. You're not going to look stupid. You're not going to look dumb. You're not going to any of that. People are going to want to help. And that's something I found being an entrepreneur. So many people want to help. You and I, we want to help each other. We want to support each other. Our trusted circle group, we're constantly
Yeah.
helping each other. And that's what I want for other people that are, especially females, that are trying to start their own business. I know there's women out there that have these great ideas, these wonderful ideas, and they just need that little kick in the booty to get them over
Yes.
the hump, to get them started.
And it's funny because I'm taking a it's an accelerator program that
Oh, okay.
NBC Universal does
Oh,
for minority owned business.
oh, so cool.
So we got in, so I'm doing it.
Hmm.
And then yesterday we had our first finance class. I was lost the
Oh,
whole class because I'm like, that's why I have my financial advisor and my accountant,
mm-hmm,
because there are some terms
mm-hmm,
that I either I'm not there yet
mm-hmm.
or I just need to you know, where I realized I was like, you know what, I need to have monthly meetings with my accountant and my financial advisor for them to teach me all the things that I didn't understand during this class
Mhm.
because it's normal.
It's totally
We don't
normal.
need to know everything, right?
Mm-mm.
So sometimes it's like you. I didn't know I was gonna become a business owner,
Mhm.
right? So today I'm gonna volunteer mentor some high school students
Oh.
that want to be a business owners.
Uh-huh.
So the person that is putting all together, he presented to me this, you know, this presentation and the activity that we're gonna be guiding. Uh, so it was everything like, okay, what's the solution that you want to provide? You know, what is your vision? And like a template with all these things. And I was like, I hope, you know, I wish I had this when I
Right?
started.
Right?
Yeah, but it's okay. It's like you learn as you go. When you're an entrepreneur, you have to wear so many hats, right?
So many hats.
Yeah,
100. Yeah, I
yeah.
totally agree.
So
And I
yeah,
what is it?
we're
You hire people that are smarter than you,
oh yes,
and
yes.
I've had to do that too, especially financial advisement, business coach. I had to, I don't want to say I pay my husband, but in different ways. Anyway, carry on.
So now that you know, I'm gonna transition because you know, guys, she's making me laugh a lot. So, and there is something that you don't know about Delaina, but she's also you're a comedian.
I do.
You
I do love doing stand up.
so how did you get there? When did you discover
Oh my
that?
gosh, so funny how I think I childhood trauma. That's probably how I ended up having. I think that's where a lot of comedians, start. I don't know. My mom's pretty funny, and she was really quick. And I say was, she is. She's very quick and she's very witty. And I think I just learned it from her.
Okay.
Um, and then just kind of growing up in high school, I would, I wasn't the prettiest girl by any stretch. I was not the guy that, girls wanted to, or that guy, the girl that guys wanted to hang out with. They just wanted me to laugh and carry on as everybody's friend and kind of a class clown. And one of my senior superlatives was that most likely to end up on SNL. And
Oh my
so I
gosh.
kind of always loved, making people laugh because
Yes.
it makes the room more comfortable, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But then moving forward, I definitely witty. I was working for the agency I was talking about here in town, and the agency was Prismatic, and the owner, Stephanie Darden Bennett,
Mm-hmm.
she's amazing, and she told me one point, making everybody laugh in the agency. She's like, "I think you need to take the Saks stand up class. If you don't take
Oh
this class, I'm
yes.
going to kick your ass." And I was like, "It's Stephanie Darden Bennett. She knows a lot of people. She could probably have my ass kicked for her." And I was like, "All right, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it." So I did. I took the class and I loved every second of it. It was such like a high. I don't know how else to explain the high when you do it. It's really incredible. And my coach, A. Ali, he was incredible too. Still a good friend. He's just a great coach. So anybody that's feeling it, definitely take the SAC class. They have
Yeah.
an improv class too, which
Okay.
I do want to kind of dabble in. But I did that, and then I did a couple other stand up things, and then I'll host events. That's my favorite thing to do because I think it's good on the fly. Because I'm not really a stay up late, go to a nightclub
Yeah.
kind of person,
Mm-hmm.
but I like to implement that comedy into different women's events or
Okay.
anything like that. So I love doing it because it's so much fun, and I get a free meal out of it. But it is what it is.
No,
So
no,
I
no.
do love doing it. It's fun. That's how I got
No.
started.
And I love it. I remember so Delana and I we met like 5 years ago actually, right? But it was really quickly at James Hobart's event. And it was
We
that day,
did.
yeah,
Oh my
that
gosh,
was the first time I saw you. And
that's right.
then
It was the Fridays.
yes, the well, it was a fun event that
Yes, it was the
Jim,
photo Friday.
yes, it was
That's what
so
it
fun.
was.
I remember that.
When he was in the
Jim,
Angleville
please bring it
building.
back.
Right? I know. We
I
gotta get
know,
on him
I
about
know.
that.
It was so fun. But yeah, I remember meeting you. I had just started. I remember I came back from Spain, and I remember Jim invited me to that event, and that's when I met you, Kay,
That is
and
right. I totally forgot about
who
that.
else? Brandy. I think she was there
That's how I met Brandy
too.
too.
Oh my gosh! But yeah, I remember. But that was at a time that I felt a little bit intimidated, because I had just come back from Spain. I was used to speak Spanish,
Mhm.
so I was like, okay, I need to get more into these events so I can practice my English again.
Uh-huh.
But I remember you were so hilarious, and making people laugh,
Oh, good.
and then I
Probably because
follow you
he
on
had
social
tequila. He had
media.
tequila there. That's probably why I laughed. So
I follow you on social media, and then I see that you always posted, these jokes, and or even your posts had, humor in it.
you're
So
so kind.
I felt like, oh my gosh, this is amazing because you can engage people in a different way. And
Mhm.
now also with your, Delaina Baker social, you give the tips to people in a
I love it.
very, different way and
Hmm.
very unique. So how
Thank
did
you.
you incorporate your, I
Oh, that
think
is
all
such a
your
balance.
talents is
You're so fine. That's a great question because I try to specifically on LinkedIn, like I always say I want to put my humor into it. And I feel like I write on LinkedIn like I talk to kind of make people feel more
okay.
comfortable, but still provide information. So that's still a balance I'm working on. But that was kind of a 2024 goal. Like I don't want to be buttoned up. I'm not a buttoned up person. When I coach and I'm one on one, I do the same thing. I provide laughter and make them feel comfortable that they're not it's okay to feel overwhelmed and just make it funny. So on, Facebook, I'm sort of me and I make people laugh.
Yeah.
And it started, obviously a long time ago, but then I realized it was making people laugh and people would come to me and say, "Oh my
Yes.
gosh, I love your Facebook post. You make me laugh." I'm like, "Oh my God, I didn't even know that we were connected on Facebook." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, like the voyeurs out there but to know that I make somebody laugh or make them comfortable or like let their shoulders go down and just say,
Yes.
"Oh, that's the goal." That's why I like to evoke humor in it, self-deprecating humor at that, but making fun of myself and just the world and being relatable. So I think if people understand that I'm going through it too, or somebody else is going through it as
Yeah.
well, that, that they're going to be more comfortable, especially when they walk in a room like we did, when you walk
Mm-hmm.
into a networking event or something like that, I want people to feel comfortable.
Yes.
They can come up to me and say hi to me. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what's your name? Let's go have coffee. You want to be best friends?" So that's kind of the attitude I have, but I don't know that balance.
Mm-hmm.
So on LinkedIn, I'm working
Yeah.
on that. You'll
Yeah.
see it come through a little bit more, but
Okay.
I'm being more me mixed in with social media.
I actually I have a friend that she was doing, I think it's 100 cups of coffee, like a challenge.
Oh, what's that?
So she started saying, "Hey, I'm doing this challenge. I want to meet 100 people." So right, so she's who wants to be my next coffee, date, and
What a
then
great idea.
it was amazing. So she and I worked together at Prospera for 3 years, but she worked in a different office than me.
Mhm.
So we really, we'll see each other once in a while. But then we reconnected when I started my business because of the coffee date that we had. And after that, we're best friends. So it's, and she has supported me. She's my financial advisor. She has supported me, in different ways.
See,
So
that's what I
yes,
love.
it
That
helps.
is what I love.
It helps. It helps a lot. Yeah, even, and I will say this to my Hispanic community is just, what Delana is saying. Like get there. Step into that room, even if you feel uncomfortable. It doesn't mean that. For me, it was my my accent at that time that I didn't feel comfortable, or it was the first time that I was actually gonna hang out with a group of Americans in the same room, and literally, Anna, you have to speak, right? So I was a little afraid, but do it, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing is that what I'm seeing is that you were afraid for the different reasons, but
Mhm.
we share that, right, in different ways, and it doesn't matter if you are Latino or not. So we feel same,
Yeah. Everybody's
yeah,
uncomfortable at some point.
yeah.
And that's a thing too when you walk into these rooms and you don't know anybody. It's like, even though I'm extroverted, I still want to go, "Hey, are you going to this?" I mean, look at our trusted circle texts,
Yeah.
our group text. Like, we're like, "Hey, is anybody going to this?" Like, so that we have that connection of somebody that's there. You kind of want that, so you're not playing on your phone in the corner. But I try to, every time I'm at an event, I try to go to somebody that looks like they might be alone and try to talk to them because that's that inclusivity
Hmm.
thing that I feel that I have, and I want people to feel comfortable and then know somebody because you never know what they're struggling with, but they want to be there for a reason too to help grow their business or just to meet new people. So hopefully, I want everybody to know that everybody's uncomfortable.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. I think if we can take something from this conversation for everybody who's listening is that, right? So that there is there are people out there in every room that are open to that, and I'm very grateful because you have been incredible supportive of everything that
Oh,
I have
same.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm excited because you're now starting a new journey
With
with your,
nonprofits.
yes, with
Mm-hmm.
nonprofits, and
Mm-hmm.
I love it because I love nonprofits and I love to volunteer, and I know I work in nonprofits and I know the pain points that they have,
Mm-hmm.
and there is a huge need out there. So
I started to realize that once
mhm,
I sort of, I guess they say the riches are in the niches or whatever that term is, or niche,
yeah.
whatever it is. I was wondering, I'm like, how do I want to help so many people. But then when I started working with more nonprofits,
Hmm.
I was like, oh man, this is really cool. And I kind of developed these formulas and these things with them, and I saw them growing, and it's just such a different sort of quote unquote business model,
Hmm.
the nonprofits and their audiences and what they're trying to, with their goals that they're trying to accomplish. I really felt that there was a need for it. And I had a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, who is she's a client that I work with. And she came to me and she's like, if you could just bottle up what you do when it comes to social media nonprofit work, and just bottle that up and have everybody have access to it, you'd be a bazillionaire. And I was like, I think you're onto something. She's like, you just have a knack for it. So that's when I decided, for 2024, that I was really going to niche down into nonprofits. And
Yes.
I love it. It's made me feel comfortable with
Okay.
what I'm finally doing. Like, I could do so many things
Like
with
you
social
felt
media.
it. It
Yeah,
was
I
like,
felt it. Yeah. And I love working with the nonprofits I work with, even consulting with some that, maybe not, they don't necessarily, budget constraints are
yeah.
hard with,
Hmm.
with nonprofits, but finding some kind of resource for them or access to it that can, help these, grassroots movements grow, as well as help, larger organizations too. So I just felt it, and I really felt settled in that decision. Finally, I was like, you don't know where you're going with your business. It ebbs and flows and
I know.
changes so much. But then when I hit that nonprofit and I talked to my business coach about it, she's like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
she's like, you're glowing when you talk about it. So
Yes,
me lighting up
exactly.
about it and what I can do, just working with the local organizations here, I'm like, I could take this national and really, really help a lot more people, which ultimately helps their communities that they're into.
No, and I love it because that's something, when something sparks inside you, that that's the
It's either that or
direction.
gas. I don't know what to tell you.
So that's the direction that we can take. But I love that you've made that decision because there is a lot of need in the nonprofit world where I think now with that type of help, they can leverage more in the limited resources
Yeah.
that they have, so they can repurpose. How do they repurpose content and also make an impact,
Mm-hmm.
right, with what they have? So,
Mm-hmm.
I wish you all the best in this
I
new
love it. Well, because we're
venture.
such good besties that will
Yes.
support each other through it.
No, and you know what? Our nonprofits, well, here in Central Florida, I've been working with some of them that are doing a fantastic job with the Hispanic market.
Mm-hmm.
So I bet that you and I are gonna
Let's
do
do
more
it.
collab
Let's do it.
now.
We're going to
Yes,
take over
let's
the
do it.
nonprofit space.
So, but thank you so much for,
Oh my
being
gosh, this has
here.
been so much fun.
I know. I want to make it longer, Carlo. I know. Oh, he's here there with the timer. He's
Oh,
the one who
gotcha.
keeps me on
Gotcha.
track.
Keeps you
If
on
not,
track.
we can continue here and bring the coffee, the margaritas.
Oh, he's good at those margaritas.
I know. But thank you so much, Elena, for for
Yes.
this, being here
Mhm.
and sharing all your
Well, thanks for having
your
me. I love
story.
this convo.
You like
I
it?
hope you bring me back. And
Next.
when I start my podcast, you're coming on mine.
Yes. No, let's do it. I'm excited. And please welcome back whenever you can. This is, I know, hi hello is our, how did you say it was
Our
our,
second home. I feel like it's
yes,
a home away from home
home
here.
away from home. Yeah.
Carlos and Carolina do such a good job of just making everybody feel comfortable when they come. So, yeah.
Yes, and I know there are some things coming, for hi hello, and I'm really excited
Me too.
about
I'm
that.
stoked. I'm
I
excited
don't
for
know
them.
if I can share yet, but yeah, I will share one day.
I'll help share too.
But no, thank you.
Yes, thank you,
Appreciate it,
love.
my friend.
I love you dearly.
Me too. Muchísimas gracias, mi gente. Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible journey of Hablamos Spanglish. It is a pleasure for me to explore the diverse stories and experiences within our vibrant Hispanic community. I hope that you have found inspiration, connection, and a deeper appreciation for our culture and heritage. Remember, our stories are what unite us and what make us stronger. Stay tuned for more captivating episodes in the future. And don't forget to follow us on social media and share your thoughts with us. Hasta pronto.